The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Morning Markets Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN. Thanks for kicking off your trading morning right here with me at TFNN, the morning market kickoff. And yesterday, quite a roller coaster ride to higher prices. We kick off the morning session today slightly in the red, but we've had some volatility overnight as well. You make it to a high at about 4:30 a.m. Eastern time. S&Ps, you were up there at 68.33. You drive all the way down a full percentage point. Okay, so markets, S&Ps from 4:30 until about 8:30 this morning, a full percentage pullback. We're up from there. Expect a volatile session today. Digesting many headlines. S&Ps kick it off down about 9 points or 0.1%, 67.92. NASDAQ 100. Quite the escalation yesterday. How about 1,000 points in the NASDAQ 100? That's right, folks. A 4% from lows to highs yesterday from 24,000. How's that for a nice round number? Our man Basil Chapman loves those round numbers. Market loves them too. 24,000 on the dot. And remember, folks, anyway, it'll show it to the decimals on some of these highs. 1,000 points, NASDAQ, down by 10 points, basically flat this morning. The Dow right now, negative by 60 points. The Dow, almost 1,400 points off of the lows yesterday, down by 62 points, 47,707. And the Russell, you talk about volatility in the Russell, 130 points off of the lows of yesterday. That is 5% off of the lows. Negative by 10 points this morning, down by 0.4%. Bitcoin back above 70,000, 70,900, up by $1,700. Crude in focus today. So, we chop lower yesterday afternoon. The president says the war may be over. Iran, I'd say they disagree on some of the comments coming out here. Even the Secretary of War, the Defense Secretary, Department of War, right? Gotta guess it. Says that the U.S. is not going to relent until Iran is defeated. Okay, that's the headline on the Journal today. But you talk about a volatility wipeout, man, from 120 down to almost $80 at the end of the session yesterday, as I was talking about yesterday afternoon, folks. You better make sure you're positioned in this market so that you're aware of the risks taking place. And I'm even talking about, if you're in there, if you're playing the SPY, okay, you're thinking that you can put stops in place, right? Let's say you have a SPY short position. Folks, don't step away from your computers, okay? In the span of 25 minutes yesterday, you had the SPY trade up almost 10 full points. This is a headline-driven market right now, and it's going in both directions. So there's a lot of times, I think a lot of traders, right? You can get into positions. You think you can manage them. You better make sure that you have a risk. And if you have undefined risk in this market, be aware of the swings that are happening, okay? This acceleration we got yesterday, we could get a further acceleration today. We could get a rebound to the downside today. Everything's on the table right now, folks. We jump over to yields. So backing off a bit. Higher price, lower yield. And how about from 111.26 to almost a full point overnight, 112.24. In that 10-year, we get the 10-year yield at 4.12. We're approaching 4.2%, 4.12, the yield on the 10-year. The dollar right now, 98.66, some of that war volatility and premium coming out of that dollar. And then you jump over to golds. And yeah, when we got weaker dollar, you got higher gold. Gold up $107 right now, 52.11. Silver pushing $90 yet again, 89.52 for silver. You jump over to platinum, up by 2.6%. Copper, 589 right now. You jump over to the volatility index, 24.90. Still an elevated volatility index, folks, to put it lightly. You look at this VIX, Christmas Eve was the low, 1338. Since then, you talk about an escalation. 24.90 right now in that volatility index. And yeah, let's jump around to some of the headlines. Secretary of Defense, Defense Secretary, we will not relent until Iran is defeated. The next headline from the Journal. Iran's leadership signals it's still in control and able to fight. So yeah, we're going to keep going. Catching a couple of the headlines. And yeah, that's really the one. The Tuesday's airstrikes would be the most intense yet of the campaign against the regime. You know, hey, we will see. Right now, markets with quite a bid. We got 15 minutes to go until the opening bell. How's that rejection a lower price yesterday? 65.84. We're 200 points higher from yesterday's lows. We'll come right back, folks.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento. A pro's pro with over 50 years of experience, Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
Building wealth trading in the stock market seems impossible to most people. They think it's too volatile and risky. Most people aren't going to take the time to educate themselves on how to do it right. But you're not most people, are you? At TFNN, you'll get the guidance you need to refine your strategies and techniques to invest like a pro. Because you'll be a pro. All TFNN subscriptions, books, software, and courses are available at TFNN.com. And I'm even going to tell you how to get them for less. Use TFNN's Tiger Dollars and you'll get up to a 20% bonus on your purchase. And once you apply them to your account, Tiger Dollars are automatically used for all future or recurring charges. Tiger Dollars also never expire, are fully transferable, and are a great way to add savings to your newsletters or services. Become the investor you were born to be at TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger Zen, hosted at Discord. TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger Zen, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
This portion of the Morning Market Kickoff is brought to you by Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the direction. Visit Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Welcome back, folks. S&P's off by about 12 points, make it 11 points, 67.90 right now. And yeah, quite the acceleration yesterday. You take a look at this thing on a weekly basis. Okay, we've already done 2.5 million contracts. It's not even the opening bell on Tuesday, and the biggest day is out here. on the S&P are under 10 million. We've already done 2.5 million. You take a look at this thing on a daily. Yesterday, one of the biggest days we got, going back to these lows of January 20th. Yesterday, you do 2.18 million, but not quite as much as you did on that acceleration on March 3rd. Still a big day to the upside. You reject lower price. You do it with volume on the upside. All right, some of the headlines, and we'll get into the charts, but the flow of news. So this one 12 hours ago, last night, this is from President Trump. If Iran does anything that stops the flow of oil within the Strait of Hormuz, they'll be hit by the United States 20 times harder than they've been hit. So that gets said. Iran threatens oil halt as long as attacks continue. We have a 7th service member who was killed by an Iranian strike on the Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia. Doesn't sound like a de-escalation, folks. That's kind of the point here. And then I'm getting to where the reply from Iran. One more. Ruling out talks with the U.S., just highlighting some of the risks of another spike here in crude, okay? Iran's foreign minister said the possibility of negotiating with the U.S. or discussing ceasefire was off the table. Okay, well, that's what they want. And then you get up here that Iran is now offering safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz if you expel the ambassadors of Israel and the United States. You get a free pass through the strait. Doesn't quite sound like the de-escalation, and I'm hopeful, folks. Okay, but you hear that Hegseth says we're not going to relent. And then he had 3 objectives. Let's see. Yeah, here they are. And this was a press conference at 8 a.m. going on this morning, folks, with the Secretary of Defense. Destroy their missiles and their ability to make them. Destroy their navy. Permanently deny Iran nuclear weapons forever. Permanently and forever. Well, that does not mean the war is over. It's like you hear stuff like that. It's an undefinable objective, and it's definable, but it's definable through actions that are more than what's getting put out there in terms of permanently, forever, and at the same time, you still have an Iranian regime that is intact. All right, let's segue to this one, man. And if you watch the program long enough, we've talked about it, whether it's UNH, okay, these insurance companies, the way they just absolutely defraud Medicare to the tune of tens of billions of dollars, folks. Every few months or so, I'll repost these articles in the Tiger's Den just because they are amazing in terms of the raw size of the fraud that's taking place when people are just adding diagnoses to trigger payments to insurance companies for conditions that most people may not even have. So this one's out from the Journal this morning, and it's about a report that's likely to come out today, okay? And that report is going to say overpayments to Medicare Advantage plans increase seniors' Medicare Part B premiums by $13.4 billion last year. $13.4 billion last year. The average American seniors, this is every person, more than $200 is what every senior, their Medicare premiums are paying. Hundreds of dollars for alleged overpayments to Medicare Advantage plans, congressional investigators found. $13.4 billion, folks. Now you have a spokesman for the health insurance industry with the biases that are obvious with this statement, saying that they're fundamentally flawed data, methodology, and extrapolations. Well, I would agree, folks. I disagree. And if you followed some of the stories that we posted here, great news, whether it was from, I think, the Journal, Bloomberg, okay? And this is not just coming from taxes and government healthcare spending. That's the most remarkable part. It comes from seniors. And it comes from Medicare Advantage, which is paid for by seniors. The average Medicare beneficiary paid an extra $215. That's not what they paid, an extra $215. And if you're a high-income earner where you pay higher premiums, you could have paid an extra almost $700. Yeah. Now, lower income Medicare enrollees don't have to pay those premiums. It's income-based. Higher earners, that's an extra amount. That's not where you're paying total. Medicare Advantage costs roughly 20% more than traditional Medicare. And yeah, the battle should be on, man. Medicare officials moved in January to remove some of the tools insurers use to increase their payments, such as certain behind-the-scenes reviews of medical charts that can lead to extra diagnosis. Including that change, the Medicare agency proposed holding the insurers' rates essentially flat next year, triggering pushback by the insurers. And yeah, it is, in my opinion, folks, and I'm not a lawyer, criminal when you dig into the way they do these procedures, the way they add diagnoses, and we've went over it before. They'll send a nurse practitioner to your home, and this I'm talking about Medicare Advantage in particular. They'll give you a $25 or $50 gift card just to come and check up on you, and meanwhile, they use that $50 gift card to get you to agree to the appointment, to send their nurse practitioner into you, to diagnose you with conditions you may not have. You could have them, but in a lot of situations, the statistics line up that they're over-diagnosing it to a statistical degree that is in a statistical anomaly, right? It's just not based in reality. The statistical variance, statistics are great, folks. I remember taking statistics first year of Villanova, okay, and, ending up in the market. You better understand statistics. All right, you're talking about one standard deviation, right? Two standard deviation moves, variance, probability, the bell curve, all of that stuff. Well, yeah, they're out of the realm of statistical norms. But you're going to see more about this because this is coming out today. You're going to get a congressional committee. And yeah, it's not just what the government's paying. Not only are they paying for that, but then you have to pay for part of it as well. All right, folks, we're coming back for the opening bell. S&P is off by 8. We'll be right back.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
If you spend any time online researching trading techniques on how to begin your trading journey, you've no doubt come across many folks who push Forex trading as a way to make big money quickly. Unfortunately, there are equally as many stories of these so-called Forex professionals just looking to make a quick buck off aspiring traders without actually teaching the ins and outs of the Forex market. This is what sets Teddy Keckstack's The Tiger Forex Report off the riffraff. Every Monday, former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member and author Teddy Keckstack releases his Tiger Forex Report newsletter, where he dives into the complex world of Forex and takes time to actually teach you his methods that have made him so successful in the fast-paced and rewarding world of Forex trading. Furthermore, all subscribers receive access to archived live streams of Teddy's, where he provides university-level education to help you in Forex trading. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Forex awaits.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. We got equities open. NASDAQ 100 open slightly in the green. We're up by 0.2%, up 50 points at 25,042. S&P's positive by 1 point. 6,800 on the dot right now. You got the Dow slightly in the red. Russell off by 2 points as well. Bitcoin, 71,000. Continuing the run. How about Bitcoin? Up more than 5,000 from the lows of Sunday evening. Ethereum up by 1%, 2,061. We check in on crude. Now, what's remarkable here, folks, is you get this acceleration yesterday. The moves in crude are just mammoth right now. They don't seem as large because we're getting, used to moves in crude on a daily basis of $20 to $30 a barrel. Crude's off by $7 on the session right now, but basically we're just chopping around where we were at about 330 after that initial thrust lower, and we'll see if the details materialize. What I encourage you, though, folks, is that just like we saw this news yesterday where you see crude rip from 104 to 82, if you're trading this market, just be aware that there's risks on both sides of this. Don't go into a futures market right now and look away from the screen and think that you can manage your risk. When we are in a market that you can drop $5 to $10 or pop $5 to $10 before you can enter a trade and get out of it if you're not in there with an active stop and managing it. It's that type of market, and that market's not always as volatile, as in there's always a chance that fundamental news at any point in any day could hit the market and drive it dramatically higher or lower. The chances that that happens today are much higher than normal. Yields continuing to ease. Let's jump to the home builders. So quite a turnaround yesterday. Yields in focus for the home builders, but it's been quite a pullback. And yeah, for Lennar, this is a make or break moment, man. You are well below in terms of this consolidation area you had. And I say well below. That area was basically about 100 to 110. You're just under it at 99.60 right now. You take a look at the daily on Lennar. And that was a nice rejection, a lower price, but you still traded lower yesterday with volume. Prior day, you closed it out at 101.17. Yesterday, you closed it out at 99.94, and we're almost $1 lower for Lennar this morning, 99.01. DR Horton, I like the setup a little bit better, as in you're still in the support area for the lows of last year and the lows of January. And the other one I'm keeping my eye on is KB. Same deal. You kind of stayed in this 55 area where you had support in January. Lennar, unfortunately, flirting with breaking that area. And the tough thing about this, folks, you're holding Lennar. Okay, I think longer term, the stock will be okay. We need homes, period. They're going to be a player, I imagine, and they should be, to build homes. And especially if then they have to make sure they sell them and they can't hold them forever. But the next stop, $75, maybe even 70. This was a one-way trip, 2022, from $70 up to a high of 133. You break below this level right here, there's nothing in the way, man. Nothing. You're coming back to test the lows of 2022. I keep coming back to this longer term volume, though. All right, we are going to get a shift in yields, folks. Okay, we got a new Fed chair coming in, and the pressure is going to be on rates to be lower. And we keep getting head fakes, but this market is just waiting. And that's the glimpse of the strength that can be in these home builders, man. Okay, that's what really started tipping me off when you get this huge acceleration on the home builders in November of last year. Well, as is the case in the market, sometimes it can take a little bit longer or a lot longer for things to play out than you imagine. Okay, but I think that's what's happening. I think the market just got a little bit ahead of these home builders, but I think it's coming. So keep your eye on them. All right, you want to own some of Bill Ackman's company? Well, you can buy it in the public markets. But they're not saying just yet how many shares they're going to sell you. But Mr. Ackman filed to take public his hedge fund firm, Pershing Square, with a new investment fund. Closed-end investment company managed by Pershing Square Capital. So they're seeking an aggregate offering size at least $5 billion, $2.8 billion in gross commitments from a private placement. They manage $19 billion, including borrowed money. Shares are going to pop for $50 each. Buyers must purchase at least 100 common shares to participate. So it's a $5,000 minimum buy-in. I'd be very skeptical of this one, folks. Rich private investors don't allow good investment opportunities to go to other investors unless they think the price that you have to pay for it no longer makes that an investment worthy of taking all yourself, right? To a certain degree. We all know that's true. It's why private companies stay private for so long now. And you can't blame them for trying to push out paper to the public. Everybody does it if they can. But it's going to be interesting to see how this one goes and where the future lies. And yeah, the last part of this one. Ackman previously acknowledged the need to generate enthusiasm for Pershing Square's USA closed-end structure, which has fallen out of favor with investors. Similar funds, including one Ackman listed a decade ago in Europe, trade at a discount to the net value of their holdings. And yeah, it's a closed-end fund, folks, which means you can only sell it if you can find somebody on the open market, regardless of what the fund says it's worth. Therefore, that's why it trades at a discount to the net value across the board, because guess what? The net value, not a fair reflection of what the market's actually willing to pay for it, right? We'll see how that pans out. All right, let's jump around to some of the tech leaders today. Quite a day for NVIDIA yesterday, plowing higher. Today, you're flat. 182.50. This thing just continues to chop around between about 170 to 192, 190 on the top side there, about a $20 trading range. And pretty remarkable that you're talking about 8 months. 8 months of a consolidation on NVIDIA, right near the highs right now. Micron shares. Ooh, another nice bid, up by 3.7% today. Broadcom, up by 0.8% today. Jump to some of the software companies. All right, giving back some of those gains. Salesforce down by 2.5%. Look at this. These things so volatile, man. I liked the volume on the acceleration here, folks. All right, you get a pullback on lighter volume to these lows again. Ooh, I'm going to be watching that because that was some nice strength as maybe the AI play overplayed. But today, they're taking it back yet again. Intuit down by 2.7%, Salesforce off by 2.6% right now. Yeah, look at the software companies. AppLovin down by 1.5% right now. All right, folks, S&P is down by 10 points. We're 8 minutes into the trading day so far. We check back in on crude. 88.16 in that crude contract. We'll come right back, folks.
Many Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
For traders who crave risk, Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs provide opportunities to magnify short-term perspectives with up to 3 times a daily leverage, utilize bull and bear funds from both sides of the trade, and trade through rapidly changing markets. These are highly leveraged ETFs with daily resetting designed for short-term trading, not long-term investing. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the Direxion. For up-to-date pricing and performance, go to Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Are you ready to take charge of your financial future? TFNN is your gateway to the world of trading and investing. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, TFNN empowers traders and investors of all skill levels with top-notch investing systems, strategies, and techniques. It's time to protect and grow your money with insight you can trust. Join us live Monday through Friday during market hours for exclusive content that moves with the markets. At TFNN, we bring the trading floor to you. Our seasoned hosts are here to answer your calls and questions live on the air. Check out the Tiger's Den for just $1 and follow us on YouTube and become part of our vibrant community. And remember, at TFNN, we're so confident in the value we provide that we offer a 30-day money-back guarantee on all new premium newsletter subscriptions and services. You have absolutely nothing to risk, so why wait? Tune in live to Tiger TV and transform your trading journey, because when you know better, you invest better. Join us and experience the difference today. TFNN, educating investors.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Welcome back, folks. And you talk about some volatility, man. Just since 8:30 in the morning, crude just traded from $91 down to almost $87. Markets pulling back a bit on the open. Excuse me. We get a little bit of selling to kick things off right now. S&P's off by 20 points in terms of price areas that you're looking in this market. Okay, some of the important technical areas here. You had this area 6,700. That was the area that was kind of resistance overnight on Sunday evening. That's the exact area you bounced at on that 130, and that's also right near where you had the lows on Friday, 67.15. Let's go back 10 days. It's going to be interesting to see if we come back down, test this 6,700 area yet again. I was looking at this pre-market, trying to find some nice visual areas of ice, and we'll see if it happens. We got the S&P's off by 20 right now. Jump back to that VIX volatility index, 2483. So jumping back to this journal piece out last night in terms of Iran still basically being in control. One of the points they make in this article that's worth noting is And it's always the case, right? I mean, it was the case with our own independence. Okay? Our own independence, one of the things they teach you in U.S. history, folks, is that one of the advantages that we had versus the British troops was that we were fighting on our own turf. Period. You always have an advantage when that's the case. One reason, reading this article here, Iran's leaders have been able to withstand the overwhelming military pressure is that they've been planning on this since they had the 12-day war in June. Okay, you don't think they were aware that Trump just might hail missiles out of the sky? They should be, with the verbiage that they're talking about, okay? They were prepared. Even if their military capacity and their buildings are destroyed, they believe that airstrikes alone cannot destroy the regime. There are no signs of serious cracks or institutional breakdown in Tehran. The regime's goal appears to be hang on as the consequences of the war accumulate and put pressure on Trump to move on. Yeah, and they blew this thing up into a regional conflict. You better believe they did. So Iran's fired an average, now this story was out last night at 9 o'clock, okay? An average of 45 missiles toward its Persian Gulf neighbors in Israel over the past 3 days, down from 420 on the second day. So it has eased a bit. But yeah, it's all over the place, man. The intensity and pattern of the Iranian strikes indicate a clear strategy of coordination behind the attacks. Yeah, repeatedly attacked armed Iranian Kurdish groups based in Iraq to dissuade them from joining the war with ground forces. In Oman, Iranian forces went after targets at ports and other facilities. And then you hear the talk about from Iran in terms of not de-escalating in any way. So, market's rejoicing right now, but we have a market that is just corked and primed for a little volatility. All right, let's take a look at some equities that are moving today outside of what's going on with the war. So Coles getting quite a pop. They were negative in the pre-market. I'm not sure if they said something on the conference call. It looks like they're just buying on the open. And this is a story of earnings. So they miss on revenue, $4.97 billion versus $5.03, but earnings they take in $1.07 a share, and the market was looking for 85 cents a share. This thing's been particularly volatile recently. You get that acceleration on their last earnings, you give it all back, and it looks like it's going to try and do it again. Let's back this thing up. You got some nice strength last July, but since then the volume number is just straight down, right? Jump over to some other retailers. Walmart up by 0.5% right now today. Walmart, little pop on the open. Target shares up by 0.8% right now. TJX up by 0.5%. We check in on Mickey D's. In the fast food wars online with the CEOs eating all their burgers or their products. McDonald's down by 1%. Jump over to Chipotle down by 1.7%. Let's take a look at this thing. Yeah, we're right back into this consolidation, man. Period. And yeah, we have a little bit of support at 30. Okay, you got an acceleration there last October. You get a bid with volume of 500 million shares. You actually trade higher. So that's your floor. We had some volume in February, though. 28 days, you do 377 million to the downside. Let's take a look at the weekly. Yeah, you come down on all that volume. Looks like we're coming back down to test this 30 area. Chipotle down 1.7% right now. Starbucks with a turnaround story with their new CEO going. All right, that was a nice sign of strength in January. We got all this volume back here in March and April of last year. Starbucks put it on a weekly. like to see a little bit more volume here on a weekly basis. You know, you look at the run that Starbucks has had since February. You just went from $90 up to $100. You're up by over 10% in the last 5 weeks or so, and really not much volume at all. We haven't had a week that's done over about 41 million shares after you've made that run. And look at the run. Look at the volume we had at the beginning of the year as well. I'd like to see a little bit more conviction on that move, but yeah, and you're coming right into this bar. Look at this. The high is 98.89, and you're just about to go right back. This is a wall you got to get above. You got this pullback. You got the round number 100. All right. You break above here with some volume, and yeah, you're going back up to test the highs. This is a critical area, 100. Nice round number for Starbucks. The chip stocks, Taiwan Semiconductor right now flat. Check on HPE. They had their numbers last night. Down about 11 pennies. So they make 65 cents versus 59. And they just miss on revenue. 9.3 versus 9.33. But they beat on earnings. The market seems okay with that. Hewlett-Packard off by 1.1%. All right, and S&P holding well. Down by just 11 points. We check back in on crude. 87.75. As crude keeping things calm in this market right now. You got the 10-year at about 4.12. And dollar down 465 ticks, giving that gold market a bid at 52.17. One more segment, folks. Coming right back.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter, a must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. S&P's off by 17 right now. NASDAQ slightly in the green. Dow off by 165. We take a look at some of the banks. Goldman basically flat this morning. Been particularly volatile recently. Nice rebound yesterday. Goldman flat, down 93 pennies, off 0.1%. Morgan Stanley positive by 0.2%. Bank of America right now down by 0.25%. Citi up by 1.5. Look at Citi. We jump over the airlines, so you get some easing in crude, but not in the airlines. American off 3.4%. Delta off another 3% right now. You got United off by 3.6%. JetBlue, the grunt of the family, off by 2.9%. I only say that as in this chart. Just every time you get a bid, you just get punished. We had some nice strength the week of February 2nd. Okay, but what have we done? You broke below it on lighter volume, but man, this thing can just not find a bid. I would love to get into this equity if it can ever make a run back up to higher prices, but every single time, folks, you just get hammered back to the downside. JetBlue off by 3.4% this morning. All right, we take a look at the heat map in this market. S&P 500, we got a flat market. But boy, we got a lot of red in here outside of the biggest equities in software and technology as usual. Micron up by 4.4%. Google, Meta up by 1.2%. Well, look at these sectors, whether you're talking about energy lower, industrials lower, healthcare getting slammed. Red across the board. Financials, red again. The software companies giving back some of those gains on their pop. You got Tesla up by 1%. That's the S&P 500. NASDAQ 100. Yeah, even as we go green right now, you get some decent green in there. Excuse me, as we go red, NASDAQ 100, and then you take a look at the Russell. Yeah, financials are having a problem, man. Period. All right, folks. S&P's off by 21 right now. Appreciate you kicking off your trading day right here with me on the Morning Market Kickoff. I have the privilege to be here with you every morning, folks. Couldn't appreciate it more. For all you in the Tigers Den, the YouTube Tigers Den, I couldn't name you all quick enough at the end of this program. You know who you are contributing out there. I appreciate it so much. You make my day, folks. Have a great one. Stay tuned for Basil coming up next. I'll see you at 3 o'clock, folks. Thanks so much. Stay tuned.